Hi everybody, this is PUBG on PlayStation 4 and I thought I would do a quick guide to controller settings and sensitivity settings if you're struggling a little bit. So let's go down to the settings and start off with turning the music off. Actually, I do quite like the PUBG music, but let's keep it quiet for this video. So controller settings. First thing, you want controller button preset B. This is the one that makes aiming down sights just like Call of Duty and just like Battlefield. Don't use type A. Type A, you have to tap the trigger to aim down sight and tap it to unaim down sight. Type B, you hold the trigger to aim down sight and you release to do it. So it's good. Whether you invert the y-axis will depend on whether you work that way. I mean, I do. Right stick dead zone, left stick dead zone, leave about 10. A lot of this depends on if maybe the sticks on your Dualshock controller may have a bit of drift, and you might have to increase that. If they're perfect and you don't have any drift at all, then you could always reduce it as well. Turn vibration off. What happens in PUBG is most of the time you'll be running around with very little happening. And you don't know it, but you're getting tenser and tenser and tenser as you're moving up, you know, top 50, top 40, top 30, top 20. And if all of a sudden somebody opens fire on you, and your DualShock starts vibrating, it'll make you jump more than you normally would. So turn the vibration off. Movement sensitivity at 10, vertical sensitivity 100. Now, we're into the sort of sensitivity options now that will really affect your sticks. Where you have them will completely depend on you. Okay, now I'm an older gamer with slower responses, so I have to use a lower sensitivity. But if you're very quick, you may want to use higher ones. If you find yourself not getting on target and going past targets when you aim down sight, think about lowering your sensitivity. So for example, for me, I have mine on 4. As I get used to the controller on the PlayStation, I will probably increase it to 5. But 4's good for me now, and I seem to be getting on target, getting on target very well. Turn aim acceleration off. Aim acceleration is where you're moving the stick, and depending on how far you move the stick, the amount of movement on the screen will accelerate. So in other words, stick movement and screen movement isn't linear, so it can be difficult to snap onto target. So at the moment, turn it off, and then aim acceleration is 1, but it's off. Over the shoulder aiming sensitivity, this is where you soft aim. So in PUBG in third person mode, which you're probably going to be playing, if you pull the left trigger, you will aim down sight. If you press the left top bumper, you will go into a soft aim where you're still in third person but you're aiming. And this is very useful for looking around corners and generally engaging in close quarters combat, and you can change that sensitivity. Practice on the practice range in the training mode and you'll see. And then all my optics I have at 4 and that works for me. Gameplay, third person aim camera position, you can do it so that whenever you go into third person, so soft aiming when you're aiming with the top left shoulder button, it will snap to a particular one you like. Right shoulder is good for me. I don't particularly use soft aiming very much, but you know, you do what's good for you. Colorblind mode, you can use this to change the color of blood. So if you move it to, I think it's the first one, deuteranopia, I think that's then purple blood, but play around with it, see what you like. Some people think that the purple stroke pink blood is easier to see, so you know when you've hit people. I don't really have a problem with it anyway. And that is about it for the settings. What I'll do though, while we're here, let's see if we can look at the... If we go into settings, and then we go into training mode, this is the place where you want to be practicing with your sensitivity and where you want to be practicing adjusting that a little bit. But once you've chosen a sensitivity and it seems about right, stick with it. Don't be changing it up and down all the time. You'll get in the ballpark. It might be 4, it might be 5, it might be 6, it could be higher, and it'll be almost right. But stick with it for a good few days just to dial it in, because if you keep changing your sensitivity, what happens is you'll never dial yourself in. Right, so here we are on the training mode. This is very, very important, this place, because in PUBG you don't get a chance to practice firing your guns at people very often. You know, in a game, if you get 6 or 7 kills, that's really good, but that's only 6 or 7 gunfights in half an hour. Well, what you can do on the training ground is, if we come over here, let's get a M416, let's get an M16, let's go and get a big bag. Helmet, let's get some sights, let's get a red dot on that one, 4 times on the M16. What else do we want? Tactical stock on the 416. Let's put suppressors on both of them. We'll put extended mags on both of them. And then we need a foregrip of some, we'll use an angle foregrip on the 416. We'll get some ammo. Let's reload. And so, right, so we're on the training ground, and I think this is the 400 meter range, 800 meter range. So I can use my M16 on single fire, and this is a good place just to get used to your sensitivity. Just move around, maybe sometimes aiming down sights, tipping over. Just getting used to it. And then this bit here in the training ground is good to work in your close quarters combat. And what I recommend you do is you go up to the dummies, but go like every other dummy. So you run up and then go, in fact, let's set it to full auto. And you want to be aiming for the chest, upper chest. Then you go round. Then you go round. You're slowly getting used to snapping onto targets. And so, as I say, you could do soft aiming as well. So that's a soft aim. And then I can flick around. And the beauty with the training mode is you do have real people running around like these fellas. So you can actually practice shooting moving targets. And this, trust me, is priceless practice. On the Xbox we didn't have this facility. Well, for no. And finally, one other little tip you can use is equip your weapons and just see what recoil they do. So for example, this is a 416 with a angled foregrip. We can come over here and you can check out recoil patterns, which means you can then practice controlling the recoil. Right, there's one last thing I want to do. So this is the controller guide. So these are all the different things that you can do with your Dualshock controller. The big changes over a normal shooter is that when you fire, and you want to reload, you have to press and hold square. If you just tap square, nothing happens. Press and hold it. That gives you the reload. Okay, you've also got the free look. So if you press and hold top shoulder button, you can keep running in the same direction and have a look behind you. If you tap the shoulder button, top right one, you can go into first person mode. Bit of practice for when we get first person mode on the PlayStation. Alright, we've got lying down. If you press and hold circle, and then you can control. You can crouch run. Click in the left stick to sprint. Press it again to stop sprinting. X does your jumping. Y changes your weapon. And, well, you can figure all the rest out for yourself. But hopefully, this little guide... I love doing that. This training ground is brilliant. Will give you a better idea how to set up the sensitivity and controls for PS4. But just remember, controller preset B is where you start. And whichever sensitivity you go with, stick with it for a reasonable amount of time. Anyway, that's enough from me. If you've got any other questions about PUBG, please put them in the comments below, because they help me create a to-do list of videos to do. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.